Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Staci.
And I'm your co-host, Sarah.
And I may or may not have mentioned it on this show before, but I'm not a big fan of the gym, which is funny because I'm doing the Health and Wellness Podcast.
Right.
But when I was younger, I didn't actually know that gyms offered fitness classes. I thought they just had machines because you can't normally see the class. From the front, you can see the people, pumping iron or whatever. But I didn't know they had classes. So my mother had fitness tapes on VHS because I'm old enough for that. And I remember we had Tybo when that was in its big stage.
Oh, God, the outfits.
Well, you wait till you hear the others. Then before that, we had Richard Simmons' Sweatin' to the Oldies, which my mother really liked because she liked a lot of the old songs.
Right.
I don't remember any except for My Boyfriend's Back, which had one of the background workout people actually either singing it or lip singing it. And I think it involved a chair and doing toe presses while standing by. I totally can remember that now. And she
that
was wearing
explains
pink.
why she could have been singing if it was just sitting in a chair and toe pressing. I'm thinking full on aerobics and singing.
No, she was just walking around and singing while he, in that same outfit he always wore, was leading everyone else to do stand on your tippy toes and 3 and 4.
Right.
But the first one that she had was Jane Fonda. Which is a classic. And we had 2 of them. I can't remember if we had 2 tapes or just 2 different workouts on the same tape.
The high cut leotards.
And the leg warmers. I was like, that in my head is what a fitness class was for so many years. Because I didn't have any other reference to fitness classes other than Jane Fonda, and I'd have to wear leotards that are possibly also thongs, but over leggings
and tights. And
I have to have those socks that aren't on your feet that go on. I didn't know what leg warmers were at the time, so those are socks, but they're not socks. What's going on here?
I had leg warmers. Not for aerobics, but I had leg warmers in the 80s.
I wasn't around in the 80s.
Good times.
So anyways, that was my whole history of fitness classes until college. It was there's that, and there's PE. And people go to the gyms to use weights, and that's it. My whole idea of working out was not fun. And I'm sad, because there are a lot of interesting different classes nowadays that you can do, to the point that they actually have, I want to call them subscriptions, but that's not the case, where you can go to different classes. You pay per month and you just go to different classes that are part of that subscription, which I would love to do, but I don't think we have it here. Darn it.
I don't know. I mean, when I belonged to a gym, I don't currently belong to a gym, but when I did, it seemed like the classes never fit my schedule. The ones I wanted to take never fit my schedule.
I'm like, who has time to do a class at 11 a.m.? Aren't you at work or something? Who's taking this class? Who's here at 9? I don't understand. Yeah, thanks a lot. But interestingly, when we did I did it by myself with the MBTI thing. One of the workouts they mentioned was Nia. And I was like, the heck is that?
I agree. I've never heard of that one.
I've never heard of that in my life, even though it also is from the 80s.
Really?
I'm just like, what?
Maybe I do know what it is, and I just never knew its name.
I think it's because it wasn't on a tape. I didn't actually know for decades that Jane Fonda actually like had classes, and even didn't even want to do a videotape at first because evidently at the time videotapes were like only for porn or something. I was like, I'm not going on video. What are you talking about? And then did, and of course that made her a lot of money. But yeah, so Nia, I think, doesn't have a tape. You have to go to a class, and classes are only available in certain places, and so it's still much more niche. I'll go with niche. So the Nia Technique, it sometimes is just called Nia, sometimes called Nia Technique. Nia originally stood for non-impact aerobics. Okay. But now it stands for neuromuscular integrative action.
Of course it does, because that's so much easier to remember.
Right. Although, and it's not clear, I saw this on a couple of websites, but I'm not sure how much the like official Nia company follows this. Nia in Swahili means with purpose.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So I was like, it goes with that, but is that just like a coincidence?
Yeah.
Was that on purpose? I don't know. So this was founded in 1983 by Debbie Rosas and Carlos A. Rosas in the San Francisco Bay Area. Okay. And they were aerobics teachers, but they didn't like the way aerobics were being taught at the time and thought there must be something better. And so they were looking into, you know, how can we do this less impact and without, you know, hurting ourselves as we get older. And so Nia believes that every person can discover, explore, unleash, and enhance their individual potential to live a fulfilling and meaningful life by engaging their senses and listening to their bodies. So Nia has a lot of both Western and Eastern workouts, but also philosophies, sort of almost new agey. Like if there had been a tape, it would definitely have been under the new age workout section if there was such a section.
You said listen to your body, and all I can think of when I hear that phrase is my sister potty training her older daughter and telling her to listen to her body. It will tell her when she has to go to the bathroom to listen to her body.
Yes, I mean, yes, it does.
Yes, but yeah.
Anyways, so Nia Fitness is based on the idea that exercise should feel good both inside and out. And it combines martial arts, modern dance arts, and yoga in a workout set to music. So it's like the more modern dance version of Zumba? Kind of? That's what I thought when I first heard it. I was like...
And where did you hear of this?
In the MBTI workout.
Oh, that's what you said. You said it already. Never mind. I'm fully present here. Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah doesn't... I have the notes. Sarah doesn't have the notes, so that's an excuse.
Yeah, except apparently Sarah's not listening, because I knew you said that, but I
was trying to help you, Sarah.
Thank you.
So anyways, Nia, like other sort of name things, is taught by instructors who are licensed. So you can't have a, you know, non-licensed Nia person. They have to go through the whole thing. But partly because they have that martial arts background, the instructors have like belts. So you'll have like a first degree black belt instructor, and then you're a white belt. I don't quite understand the belt system that Nia has, because from my recollection of karate when I was a kid, I got to like green belt with one tape mark on it, whatever that means. And that's where I ended. But there was still like, you know, 5 plus belts before I could even get to brown belt before black belt. So,
well, and I think different martial arts have different belt or different color classifications and levels, because when I watch,
they do it in different orders too.
Yeah, when I watch MMA with my husband, and you know they're talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they've got this color belt, or they've got, you know, I'm always like, wait a minute, so she had a brown belt in this, and he had a blue. Wait, what?
Right? Why do we not just have a standardized set of belts?
Yes,
and also clothing sizes, but that's a whole nother topic.
With pockets.
Yes, but anyways, so Nia employs 52 basic movements and techniques. The jaws on, this is breaking it down a bit more, jazz, modern, and Duncan dance styles.
And what? Duncan? Do I know what Duncan is? Duncan.
Right? Huh. I came to Nia because I didn't know what it is, and now it's giving me more stuff. What is with all the research?
Interesting.
Nia, it's all your fault. But anyways, Duncan dance styles, Tai Chi, Taekwondo, and Aikido. And then the body-mind healing arts of, I'm probably going to butcher this, Feldenkrais method, Alexander Technique, and yoga. Just a whole smorgasbord going on there.
I knew the word yoga.
I'm so proud of myself. I know modern dances.
Yeah. I mean,
wow. Yeah, we're terrible. But so some of the benefits of Nia include increasing the pleasure of living in your body, again, like your
That's hilarious. Some of the benefits of Nia include
I can't. Help with weight loss and maintenance, improving muscle tone and strength, more endurance, a better ability to deal with stress and stay calm, improved posture, better concentration, and a happier emotional state.
better concentration. I clearly need the Nia Technique so that I can remember what you said 5 minutes ago.
You'll have to go find one of those, random classes located
near me with a licensed instructor.
Yes.
Yes.
So Nia has it also has the licensing, but it also has a whole mind system, which we will talk about after this short break. So stay tuned.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Welcome back to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. Before the break, I had mentioned body mind, and as this episode is all about words I've never heard of before, and also Nia, but mostly words I've never heard of before.
Then why didn't you name it episode 109, Words Staci has never heard before?
I thought that was too long a title.
Oh, okay.
So I had to also look up body mind, because it's one word. It's not body space mind. It's body mind.
Or body hyphen mind, which is how I was picturing it, like a body-mind connection.
Right, that's what I would think too, but no, it's like its own word for some reason, and it does actually have like a Wikipedia page, so cool.
So what is it?
So body mind is an approach to understand the relationship between the human body and mind in which they are seen as a single integrated unit, which I guess would explain the no hyphen. Right. So it attempts to address the mind-body problem, and that has a hyphen, and is in contrast to the traditions of mind-body dualism and dualism. Body mind implies that the body, mind, emotions, and spirit are dynamically interrelated. And experience, including physical stress, emotional injury, and pleasures, are stored in the body's cells, which in turn affects one's reactions to stimuli. So
I've heard variations on this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if what I'm thinking of was called anything with the phrase body mind in it, but I have heard of something similar to that, at least, where your memories and especially kind of traumatic experiences are stored in your muscle memory.
Well, I think research supports that like stress raises levels of, I want to say cortisol, but I don't know. I might be pulling that out of a hat. Stress raises levels of something in your body.
Of stress.
And then that can like get stored in fat. I'm still pulling stuff out of hats because words.
Right.
But something along that line, research does actually back that up. I just don't remember the words because this is the episode about words and Staci. So anyways, Nia is based on 5 principles. The body thrives on dynamic ease, which is efficiency without effort.
Okay, I was going to say dynamic ease sounds a little bit like an oxymoron, but okay, efficiency without effort.
I'd love dynamic ease. I'd love that. The body demands balance. The body is balanced in yin and yang, feminine and masculine energy.
Okay.
The body demands simultaneous mobility and stability, dynamic and resting energy. And the body itself reveals the body's way.
Ooh, that does sound very mystical.
Right?
Yes.
It's like I feel I should be standing in tree pose or something while I'm reading this. Is that even what I mean? Tree pose? With the one you stand on one leg.
That can be tree pose, yes.
It's been a while since I took a yoga class. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. I did once upon a time know what tree pose is. Totally.
Yes.
Yep. So anyways, the thing about Nia is it is a class and it is led by the licensed belted instructor, but it still wants you to sort of, what feels right for your body. So you're allowed to sort of move at your own pace and to kind of change the movements if you need to. So if you are older, can't do certain things physically, That's totally understandable. You're allowed to adapt however you need. They do it in bare feet because they want to enhance the connection to the earth. Mm-hmm. Although I'm still a little thrown off by that since you're inside on a dance floor. And so at least a foot off the earth, but whatever.
Right.
But the idea is there. It's the thought that counts, I think.
I would imagine that you're allowed to, kind of to make modifications to the movements so long as you're under instruction. Like you can't just randomly change it completely so that it's something you're doing something dangerous.
Right. Like, I'm going to take tree pose and make it into like a crazy version of downward dog. Right. That's not even. We're not.
If standing on one foot is good, standing on no feet is even better.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Like try and stay somewhere around what we're actually doing right now. But yeah, so each class includes a warm-up, sustained non-impact aerobic conditioning, strength training, cool down, and stretching. So like all the stuff they actually recommend for a full workout that I never do because I'm like, I don't have time for this. If I'm left to my own devices, the warm-up probably gets skipped. The cool down might also get skipped. The strength training and yeah.
See, the silly, snarky part of me, I mean, not that I would do this if I were in an exercise class, but when they say, go at your own pace, I'd be like, I'm just going to lay here.
Right.
Like my high school trying to get out of all things PE self.
Right.
I'm just going to lay over here in the corner. I'll be fine.
Yeah, see, if my high school had let me do things at my own speed, my mile time would have been much higher. But we were required to get in under a certain minimum time, and I hated them. Mile was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But so a classic Nia class, it has 7 cycles, evidently, and it activates through these 7 cycles.
Okay, so there's what did you say? 5 stages?
5 principles.
Okay, but then there was the warm up. The what are those? That's the phases of the class. But then there's also there's a lot of math in this.
So the warm up, that's the layman's version of the 7 cycles.
Okay,
warm up is included in that. So
kind
it's
of
just
the same thing.
Before we get into the mystical stuff, here's what it really is. Now into the more mystical stuff, just in case you were confused, or I'm going to confuse you more, as I do. So the 7 cycles, there's focus and intention, or what do you want from this class experience? I don't know if that's an actual do we talk about that, or do we just
probably
get
just
in our
hold
heads?
it in your mind as you go? Yeah.
I was like, because if we're sitting around talking in a circle, I feel like a good portion of this class is not moving. Right. There's stepping in, which is letting go of distractions, becoming present in the body, mind, emotions, and spirit. You can sort of start seeing where especially the yoga influence is coming in here. Mm-hmm. Then there's the warm-up. There's get moving, which is continuous movement, increasing breath and heartbeat. Then there's the cool down. And then there's floor play, which is also one word. I don't know. Which integrates the body's nervous system through the 5 sensations of Nia. There's a lot of numbered things.
I was just going to say, now there's 5 sensations.
Lots of words I need to look up and lots of numbered
I'm
things.
not going to become a licensed Nia instructor just because there's so much math.
Well, you'd have to go through several belts anyways.
That's true.
Be patient, young grasshopper.
So many layers and levels. And
yes. So the 5 sensations of Nia are flexibility, agility, mobility, stability, and strength. So that's actually not too bad.
Strength. Didn't have an ility at the end.
Strengthability? Are you happy? Strengthability?
Thank you.
Okay. And then the final one is stepping out, which is, I think, kind of the reverse of focus and intention.
Well, isn't there a stepping in?
Oh, there was. Now I'm confused because it says that stepping out is completing the class, focus and intention to return to the remainder of the day. So I focus and intent and then step in and then step out. But step out is both out and unfocused.
Because you broke it up into 2 steps, that'd be 8, and 8's not a sacred number. Let's go with that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there is actually some, whichever practice they're drawing on thing about the numbers, because several of those do actually have ideas about numbers and what they mean. I don't, but certain things do. So this has been somewhat studied, and yet not super studied, considering, again, 80s.
I was just going to say, considering it's been around for, let's see, 35 years-ish.
Yeah, like I don't quite know why this is not more well known. Because there are definitely things that are, you know, sort of niche, and you have to have the license, whatever, to use the name. And then it's, you know, a small studio just for that. And yet I've totally heard about a number of those things. But I hadn't heard about Nia.
Yeah, me either.
The one thing I could find on Nia for like research wise was a dissertation from the 90s.
Okay.
So this sounds really old, although it does have like a modern website and it's doing classes, you know, now and not in high cut leotards. So it is still happening, but you can't find too much like on it.
Interesting.
In this century.
I mean, it's not like we don't have other things that are kind of that spiritual East meets West sort of thing. I mean,
Right.
yoga, Pilates even, so it doesn't seem that far-fetched.
Right. But the dissertation found that overall anxiety levels, as measured on a commonly used psychological scale, dropped in those who took Nia classes while increasing slightly in those who did low-impact aerobics that weren't Nia, just regular low-impact aerobics. So, I mean, that's a dissertation, and I'm not quite sure how scientifically...
Right, what they did for their groups and testings and all that good stuff.
It's like the whatever versus the placebo. I'm like, okay, but how much is that? What does that mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't quite know scientifically how to take Nia without looking at the specific things themselves. Like yoga has a lot on it, and most of those health claims have been supported as far as reducing stress, but also flexibility and strength. I love yoga for that. Like, I don't have to, you can get sweaty, but it's not like the I'm running in pain sweaty.
Right.
It's the
and then
standing
you get to
sweaty.
end in corpse pose and just lay there and be like, oh, that was lovely.
And try not to fall asleep.
Exactly.
And fail at not falling asleep. But then other things, Aikido, I think has some of that with the mind. I now want to say mind body, and
You can't because it's been taken.
and also it was body mind, so I'm completely messing it up. So we're gonna take another short break. Stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. Before the break, we were talking about the not very much, if any, research on the benefits of Nia. Mm-hmm. They did find, and this is not from a like clinical research, but that amongst those benefits we mentioned earlier that Nia claims to happen, those work better, as I think is the case for most exercise programs for like new people. Amongst like, you know, for weight loss and stuff.
Right.
But obviously if you're not working out and then you go do anything,
Right.
really,
Right.
you're probably going to lose weight. But for people who are like regular workers outers, is regular workouter, what is the term there? Regular exercisers
or people who work out on a regular basis.
Yes. That the benefits of Nia aren't really there physically.
Right.
it's harder, of course, to measure mind-wise.
Right. So, I mean, people may continue doing it because of it does make them feel more relaxed. It does make them feel like they have less stress, etc. I mean, I would assume that would differ from each person.
Yes. And I did see some interviews with people who had been doing Nia for years and still enjoyed it, which I just am impatient, or I'd be like, after, 6 months, be like, okay, next.
Okay. Well, then your muscles would always have new challenges.
Yeah, exactly. I really want that, try any fitness class you want thing that we don't have here. I'm very upset
Maybe you
about
should start a program.
Right?
Speaking of trying fitness classes, it's not a fitness class, but there is a group in my neighborhood that I saw a while back who gets together way too early in the mornings, but to do Tai Chi. And when I've seen them, it's mostly been older Asian folks in my neighborhood, and Tai Chi just looks so beautiful when it's being done. But with patience, again, I always wonder if I'd be like, okay, I can do this faster. Let's go.
Yeah.
But just to have that, I think that would be very, if we're talking about mind-body connections, that whole like, okay, slow yourself down. You don't have to rush through this. Concentrate on, just working through the motions.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I liked yoga when I did yoga, and I can understand how, even though that's not, like dynamic and aerobic, you can, be working out your muscles. And yet Tai Chi, which is kind of similar, I guess, because it's mostly standing. I've never actually seen a full Tai Chi class, but all the ones you see in clips of is just like them standing and moving their arms rather slowly. And so I'm like, how does that work your muscles? Even though like yoga does very similar things.
Right. But
somehow.
And with Tai Chi, is it supposed to move your muscles? Or, I mean, obviously it does to a certain extent, but is it more about like the spiritual connection or the meditative aspect of it? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's definitely a lot of emphasis on the more spiritual aspect of it. But I do remember reading somewhere that Tai Chi is also good physically. Though again, it's not like, you're not going to win the Mr. Universe pageant or whatever doing Tai Chi. Right.
But I can also understand why it would be, again, with lower impact, something that, maybe an older set of folks could do to, keep, you're still moving, you're still being somewhat active, but not just pounding your joints like some exercise programs.
Well, and I think I also like that about the dance aspect of Nia, because they do jazz and modern and Duncan, which we still don't know what Duncan is.
I don't have my laptop with me at the moment, so normally I'm the girl who looks stuff up, but I didn't bring it in.
You don't pay attention to me.
I know, what's wrong with me? I went and plugged it in so it wouldn't die, and then I didn't bring it in for this episode. You should fire me.
Batteries.
It's okay.
Like, batteries are important.
Well, I had to recharge the battery.
Yes. But no, anyways, comparing Nia to like Zumba, which I did do one class and thought I was going to die, but Zumba, even though, you wouldn't think it at first, can be somewhat higher of an impact depending on the moves they make.
Right.
Because there was one where it wasn't quite jumping. It was very hard to explain if you weren't physically there to see it happen. But it was just like, yeah, I can see if you're like, maybe above a certain age or so, this class might be really hard for you.
Yeah. I saw the coolest video the other day. I mean, this is slightly off topic, but it's still about Zumba. So on the most recent topic, and there is the first licensed Zumba instructor with Down syndrome. That she worked really, really hard. She loves Zumba, and she worked really, really hard to become a licensed instructor. And she was doing awesome. I mean, I was like, good job.
And see, Zumba's another one of those things that it's, it's a licensed name thing.
Right.
I want to know how this quite works. Like, I don't know that anyone licensed. I mean, I know there are like name versions of yoga that are licensed, but I don't think anyone licensed like calisthenics, did they?
Or step aerobics. I don't think.
Actually, step aerobics might be a brand name. I don't know.
I don't know, but
like, what is Tai Bo, anyways? Just back to come full circle to the beginning of this episode.
Billy
Tai
Banks.
Bo was most definitely a licensed thing, but what exactly is Tai Bo? Like,
it's kickboxing, basically.
Right?
But then that's my question. Can you do Zumba in quotes? Like, it's not Zumba, you call it something else, but it's basically Zumba. Is that a thing where you're doing
non-Zumba
knockoff exercise classes?
I mean, I'm sure you probably can, but
buy that exercise class out of the trunk of a car. I don't know.
you'd probably have to call it something like, martial arts kickboxing based workout.
Right. Something.
And then have a little asterisk not associated with typo or
yeah.
to, cover all your legal bases. We've gotten slightly off topic, but because Nia is so hard to find, really.
Yeah.
Hard to find a lot of info on.
It's like a myth. It's like an exercise.
It's a unicorn.
It is a unicorn.
And on that mystical note, we're going to end for today. Thank you for listening to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.